Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wrestling Territories Podcast. I'm your host, Troy, and tonight we're going to talk about Starrcade, and I mean the Starrcades that started in December. It started in December in '88, being in December, and the thing was, Starrcade was held in November at Thanksgiving every year until the whole debacle with Survivor Series, and Vince McMahon threatening not to let pay-per-view companies carry WrestleMania if they carry Starrcade. So it was a tough battle for Crockett in '87. So they decided to move it to December in '88. But we're going to talk about that tonight. Okay, so our main focus tonight is Starrcade '88, the very first Starrcade that moved to December, and we're going to talk about the matches, how the matches were, and just it wasn't a very good Starrcade in my opinion. But we're going to look at that. So the first match was the Varsity Club challenging the Fantastics for the U.S. Tag Team Championships. It went 15 minutes and 50 seconds with the Varsity Club, Steve Williams and Kevin Sullivan, becoming the U.S. Tag Team Champions. I remember that match. It wasn't too bad. It was a pretty good way to start Starrcade out, and it, it was like I say about a 15-minute match, so it wasn't horrible. The next match was an even better match. It was much better. It was a Midnight Express with Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane with Jim Cornette, and they defeated the original Midnight Express with which was Dennis Condrey and Randy Rhodes and Paulie Dangerously. The match went just a little over 17 minutes. That match was good. It was entertaining. It was fun because you had the battle between Jim Cornette and Paul Dangerously. So that match was really good. The next one, I like the Junkyard Dog a ton. Big fan of Junkyard Dog for many years. He teamed with Ivan Koloff to take on the Russian Assassins 1 and 2 with Paul Jones. And if Paul Jones lost, he had to leave the NWA. And if I'm not mistaken, if Ivan Koloff lost, he had to leave the NWA. I think that's how it went. And the Assassins defeated Junkyard Dog and Ivan Koloff. Um, the match was not too bad. It was only about 6 minutes, so it didn't really last very long at all. It's kind of like a throw together match, quick match, because the rest of the match is going to double digits as far as time goes. But again, I'm a big fan of Junkyard Dog and respected his work. And it was good to know that he was there, but the match didn't last long and it could have been much better. The next one is Rick Steiner becoming the TV champion, defeating Mike Rotunda. Match went almost 18 minutes long, and it was Rick Steiner's first legitimately won singles championship. Remember, he was held or handed over the Florida championship when Mike Rotunda became the TV champion, and but it was an actual legit win as his first singles championship. If you recall, he was with a Sting and Eddie Gilbert and the UWF, and he was the UWF Tag Team Champion with Sting at one time. The next match is a fifth match. Uh, okay, I want to kind of talk about these next two matches a little bit and how they could have been done maybe a little bit better. But it's Barry Windham defeating Bam Bam Bigelow. J.J. Dillon's in Barry's corner. Oliver Humperdinck is in Bam Bam's corner. It's a count out. In my opinion, Bam Bam was new. You could have made Bam Bam the winner by count out instead of Barry. If you want to do that, the match was 16 minutes. Best I remember the match, it wasn't the best match in the world. But here's what I'd have done. So we're going to go to the next match, and then we're going to go back and forth between these two for just a minute. So the next match is Sting and Dusty Rhodes defeating the Road Warriors. The World Tag Titles are on the line, but Sting and Dusty wins by disqualification. Um, and of course, Paul Ellering in the corner of the Road Warriors. I think if you could go back in time and flip this match around a little bit, what I would have done was put Bam Bam with Dusty Rhodes and Sting against Barry Windham. I think that would have been better. And if you wanted to put the title on Sting, good. If you didn't, that's fine too. But Barry and Sting had been kind of throughout the summer of '88 going back and forth about the U.S. title. They met at one of the Starrcades. I think it would have been much better for Sting to have faced Barry Windham, and you could put Bam Bam with Dusty, and it'd been a battle of four big guys, just for the tag belts. But I mean, I do understand that the Road Warriors kicked Sting out of their Brothers in Paint club, so to speak. What happened was Sting was substituting for Dusty Rhodes earlier in the year, um, back in the late summertime. And the Road Warriors turned on Sting. They were mad at Dusty for not being there to compete, to defend their titles, so on and so forth. But and I know that's supposed to be a continuation. I get that. But when you look at the matches at Starrcade, it have suited them better to have had, in my opinion, Sting against Barry Windham. The final match on the TV side or the pay per view side of it was Ric Flair defeating Lex Luger to retain the world title. Ric Flair has JJ in his corner, JJ Dillon. Um, the That match is not bad. It's just a continuation from Lex Luger and Ric Flair at the Great American Bash earlier that year. It was a good way to end. I think it was smart to keep Flair with the championship at that time. But that was a good match. Like I say, the only real match I would have switched would have been Barry for Bam, or excuse me, Sting for Bam Bam. I think that would have been a little bit better. And maybe let the Junkyard Dog Ivan Koloff match go a little bit longer against the Assassins. But they did have a dark match as well that I never knew about. But it was a Junkyard Dog winning a $50,000 bunkhouse battle royal, 17-man over the top rope battle royal that consisted of Commando Ray, Commando Boone, um, Eddie Gilbert, Dick Murdoch, Kendall Windham, Dustin Rose, Tommy Rogers, Bobby Fulton, Dennis Condrey, Randy Rose, Steve Williams, Bobby Eaton, Stan Lane, Larry Sabisco, Al Perez, and Junkyard Dog defeated or tossed over Abdullah the Butcher to end that match and win the $50,000. Again, I did not know anything about that dark match, but that was Starrcade '88. Okay, so continuing on, Starrcade '88 could have been a lot better. Just 8 matches, but 7 on TV or pay per view. Starrcade '89 was horrible in my opinion. Some people may like it. It was Future Shock. It was the Iron Man and Iron Tag Team tournament. It consisted of um, uh, you had to face. There was 4 people, 4 single competitors, 4 tag teams, and they had to compete against each other all night long. And see, it was the tag team would have been Doom, the Steiner brothers, the Road Warriors, Samoan SWAT team, I believe is what it was. And then the other ones in the single competition was Lex Luger, Sting, Ric Flair, and who was the other one? Muda. Sting won the singles. Road Warrior, I believe it was Road Warriors that won the tag team. But anyway, it was. I don't even want to really get into that pay per view. To me, it was just a horrible concept. I mean, it was just that to me could have been a Clash of the Champions or something like that that people could have just watched for free on TV. It wasn't a Starrcade that anybody should ever write home about. So I just don't think it was a good idea. But Starrcade '88 started everything off in December for Starrcade, and Starrcade '87 was kind of a downside for Jim Crockett. Is where some of that started. In '88, you didn't have Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. You know, so a lot of the guys you had in the Mid Atlantic territories from '83 to '86, those Starrcades were phenomenal. Those all were good. Um, you didn't have a lot of those guys again. The storylines have been broke up; they're gone. Stark '87, you had Ron Garvin against Ric Flair, with Flair being the heel but being cheered more than Ron Garvin. Um, Stark '88 will go down as an okay pay per view, but is beginning of where Turner started taking over, and I think he purchased the NWA from Crockett around November of '88, I think. And again, I don't know. There's not a lot I can say about it, but Starrcade in December, Starrcade 87, 88, 89 were not all that good at all. It started getting a little better, especially at the time when the NWO started coming along and WCW Starrcade, but 88 and 89, 87, 87, 88, and 89, horrible Starrcades and could have been much better. I think out of the three, 88 was probably just a little bit better, but they cannot compare to 83 through 86. But anyway, that's my opinion. That's what I think about it. And I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And until next time, God bless. We'll see you soon.